Well, welcome everybody. For the panelists, thank you so much for being here, and those that are interested in education. My unbiased opinion is this is the best career possible. So we're glad that that you're joining us here tonight. So I want to start and just kind of run through a little bit of who's here and kind of what we're going to cover and some of the components here. So my name is Jeff Wardle. I'm the principal at Buffalo Grove High School. And I was a latecomer to the education game. I didn't know in high school. I wish I had known. I didn't start until in my junior year of college. I had to cram a bunch of classes in and spend more money. So I wish I had thought about this sooner. We have three wonderful partners here from National Louis. So we have Keisha Rembert is here. We have Ann Brodzinski and Laura Beaupre. So welcome from National Louis, an incredible partner with us. We have a second-year teacher at Chicago Public Schools, Anna Tam. Welcome, Anna. One of our incredible teachers from Rolling Meadows, Linda Thorson. Thanks for being here, Linda. And we have a student. We're excited to have Olivia. Thank you, Olivia, for being here. Just briefly, if we talk through as a whether you're a parent or you're a student and you're thinking about going into this profession, we just wanted to show you what kind of the courses would look like for early childhood education. So we have some, in our district, we have a number of courses that are just required to graduate. Just want to make sure that you do that. So as you can see here on the slide, there are 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 2 years of social science, but most of our students take at least 3 of that. Also 2 of science, but most students do take 3 of science. And then you have, career and tech ed, a fine arts requirement, consumer ed, and of course, physical education. But I think it's kind of neat to see on that, if you can see that post-secondary, some of the electives that we offer that can be really helpful and beneficial. Languages are always helpful, psychology, entrepreneurship and kind of being a self-starter, some of our dual credit courses, College Intro to Education and College Ed Academy, a great course, a lot of hands-on experience, internship type possibilities, kind of getting your feet wet. And then just some of the other ideas that you can get involved in there. Some of our clubs like Scholastic Bowl, service learning, training, being involved in student council or tutoring, of course, and then a lot of our career nights. So if we jump from there to from early childhood to primary, similar on the graduation requirements. And then again, some of our career-related electives like your psychology or world language, a lot of similar then career-related activities there. Again, with the tutoring, training, Scholastic Bowl, service learning. This is definitely the kind of profession you get in because you like people and you like kids. So a lot of things that you're working with kids and with people. So with that, we can always, this will be posted later, so you can always jump back to that if you want to. I just want to quickly let each person on our panel introduce themselves a little bit more about who they are and what they do at their institution. I'm going to go in the order that I can see you. So the person next to me is Anna Tam. Would you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you for having me. It's great to be with 214 again. I actually grew up in Arlington Heights and I went to Rolling Meadows High School. My sister was actually in Mrs. Thurston's class, so it's great to be here. And I actually went to the University of Chicago, majored in history, and then I decided later that I wanted to go into education. But fun fact, before I got into education, I did complete a few internships, and one of those internships was at District 214 in the Center for Career Discovery. So I actually worked as a job placement specialist there while going through a master's program at Northeastern Illinois University. And I graduated in January of 2019. And now I'm a second-year teacher with Chicago Public Schools. I teach 3rd grade at Edison Regional Gifted Center.
Great, thank you. we're going to go through some of our National Lewis partners. Keisha, tell us about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Keisha Rumbert, and I am an assistant professor at National Lewis. I am the instructor who oversees those students who are just coming into their major of education, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I was a middle school teacher for a number of years. If I told you, I'd have to hurt you. And so bring that enthusiasm to the classroom and agree that it is the best career. And I can say that because I am also a career changer. So I started out as a journalist major and got my master's in education and went from the dark side to the light. So I'm excited to have so many of you considering the field.
Thank you. Fantastic. Anne, how about you?
Hi, everybody. I'm Ann Pradzinski, and I am also an assistant professor at National Lewis University. And my focus is more on the fourth year. I work with all of our seniors, and that's the time when they do a lot of their field work. They're out all of senior year in the schools, working with mentor teachers, teaching, getting their feet wet in that field before they have to before they get their own classroom. I also am a career educator. I've been in education for more than 30 years, which does tell you more about my age. And I actually started in early childhood. So I worked with our early childhood program. And then I worked my way up through 8th grade and taught 8th grade for a long time, 8th grade science. So I work with our elementary program as well, because I've had experience in both areas. And then I now have been working at National Lewis for 2.5 years, working on teaching educators how to teach, and it's a great job.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Laura, how about you?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm just Laura Beaupre. I'm an outreach and enrollment specialist at National Lewis, and I too have been in education. So I will say I think teaching is one of the most fabulous jobs. It was very rewarding. I taught for many years at the elementary and middle school level. I taught science. And then I ventured, as a life as a mom and also working full time. I did venture into the world of post-secondary, and I love it. I love it. I worked for a community college for a number of years in the area of college and career readiness, as well as now National Lewis, which is a university that I've known and loved, and currently working on my master's as well at National Lewis, and a big fan of our education program. So I'm excited to share with you more about our program.
Fantastic. Thank you. Linda, how about you?
Hi, everyone. My name is Linda Thorson, and I have been lucky enough to teach at Rolling Meadows High School for the last 20 years, where I have also been lucky enough to only teach education pathway courses. And for the last 2.5 years, I'm adjunct faculty at National Lewis University. So Anne and Keisha are my colleagues as well.
Great. Olivia.
Hi, I'm a senior at Rolling Meadows High School. I want to be an elementary special education teacher. So I've taken basically all the classes. Second semester, I'll be finishing all of the education classes that are available at Meadows. And I'm president of Educators Rising at Meadows, which is a club for future teachers or anyone who wants to work in a school. And I also do FCCLA, which is a club for competitions. So I do education competitions with them too.
Awesome. Fantastic. So that is our group of panelists. Olivia is very brave to be here as a student and be answering questions. So if you are a student and you're on this call and you are willing, would you be brave with Olivia and let us see your face? If you're willing to do that, you don't have to, there is no pressure, but it's easier for us to talk to you, maybe connect if we can see each other. All right, thank you so much for doing that. So I'm gonna start, Linda, I'm going to start with a question with you, but it can go in other places as well. If one of our students is interested in this pathway here at District 214, what would the courses be like for them to kind of go across the sequence into our early childhood or elementary education?
Well, the great thing is with our education pathways, there's so many ways to enter it, no matter what year you are and depending on what you want to do. So ideally, perhaps as a freshman or a sophomore, you would start with our intro class, which is a child development class. Then we all have at Rolling Meadows, a preschool lab, and we call it the lab school, where they can actually, high school students can learn to teach and actually teach preschoolers in our lab school. And you can do that up to 4 times. Then you can, ideally as a junior, take something called College Intro to Education, which is a dual credit class with National Louis. Second semester, take a TIP program where you actually go out and do student teaching. And then our capstone course, the Education Academy, which is what Olivia is in now. And where you actually, I have spent 2 days a week in the classroom and then 3 days a week out student teaching for a whole year, so.
Oh, fantastic. So Olivia, tell us about that experience as a student, especially maybe with that internship and what that is like.
So last year I was put into a 4th grade elementary classroom at Willow Bend Elementary School. And the classroom I was in, she was actually my 3rd and 4th grade teacher. So it was kind of great to be back in my classroom and teach with her. Some days I would observe her teaching a lesson. Some days I would start a lesson and she'd finish it. Basically, you talk to your teacher, see what you're comfortable with. By the end, I was teaching lessons too. So you're there to observe and learn, and it's great because you can walk around the classroom, help kids with work, and help the teacher with grading, and see like all perspectives as a teacher.
Fantastic. And get in there and know what you really like, and that kids, the ages that you like as well. Some questions for our National Louis panelists here. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the programs you offer and kind of what the sequence of courses looks like, and maybe some of the opportunities to get involved in a school or outreach while you're at National Louis?
Sure. We offer 3 different degree programs right now. The first one is in elementary education, which leads to teacher licensure. So that would be for anyone who's interested in teaching grades 1 through 6. The second program we have is early childhood education, which also leads to teacher licensure. So you're a licensed teacher, and that would be for anyone who's interested in teaching pre-K through grade 2. And then we also have an early childhood practice program, which focuses on infants and toddlers. And also in the pre-K, it's a non-licensure program. So you're not a licensed teacher. You can't teach in the public schools with that. But if you're interested in working with young children, that's the program that you would be really interested in. Keisha, do you want to talk about what it looks like coming in sophomore year?
Sure. What I love about, well, I'm just like shocked that Olivia has all of this great experience that already that she could bring to National Louis, Olivia. And just like coming in that sophomore year too, what I love about our program is that there are myriad opportunities for observation and to also get into, to get your feet wet in the classroom and to continue that foundational work that you guys have done a great job at providing as well. So that is our sophomore and junior classes. I think more so than a lot of universities have that opportunity to get in the field and learn experientially.
Fantastic. Laura, I don't know if you had anything to add.
You know, what I think is also amazing, one of our new programs that I think is just like incredible. We have a double major with elementary education and early childhood now. And I just think that's incredible that you can actually end up teaching, pre-K all the way through 6th grade. Correct me if I'm wrong, Keisha and Ann, but this is amazing. And that all of our teachers, and I'll say this, Olivia too, end up having an endorsement, in ESL, bilingual, or special education. And if you really want to go the extra mile, you could actually work a little bit harder in the summer and take some courses and be able to possibly even have both of those. I mean, that to me is amazing. So you can teach. So that's one of our new programs that's out that I just wanted to share as well.
I would say that's great. I was not aware of that. And I can tell you that when we have new staff come and I get to hire, if they're only endorsed in one subject area, I almost always tell them your first master's is going to be in special ed or EL. Like that's what you got to have. If you can get that coming out of college, you will be so much more marketable. So that's fantastic to hear. Yeah, that's really, really great at National Louis.
Yes.
So Anna, you are 2 years, not even, you're a year and a few months in to living the dream. So tell us a little bit about what you've loved so far about teaching, maybe favorite part, and what's been surprising to you.
Sure. Well, it's certainly been an exciting past year and a half. You can imagine me as, a first-year teacher, excited to get in the classroom. November hits and all of a sudden there's a Chicago teacher strike, and then March happens, and then all of a sudden there's a pandemic. But through it all, starting remote this year, through it all, the best joys just truly are with making those relationships with your kids and establishing that community in the classroom. I've got to say that even when we did go remote way back in March, it really meant a lot that because of the relationships that were developed before that, we were able to really come together as a community and be there for each other in those really hard times. I truly think that teaching has such a direct impact on kids, families, the community. And it's just one of those jobs that you can get so much meaning out of and you feel like you're making a difference. So that's definitely my favorite part.
So great to hear. I think that's so true. Really feeling like you are influencing lives in this profession. It's really more of a calling, I think, than a job. So that's wonderful to hear. Linda, I'm going to jump back to you. As we talk about, kids in high school thinking they might want to go into this, and you've been doing this for a while. What advice would you give to students that are considering maybe education, maybe not? How would the courses kind of help them make that decision from what you've taught?
Well, like I said, what's so great is you can just dabble in the pathway if you want. And so I would definitely suggest taking that first Foundations for Learning class so that you can get into the early childhood labs and actually practice teaching is a great way to do it. And that would just be 2 classes, 1 semester long each, and just get your feet wet. And you might want to stop there, or you might want to be like Olivia, who has taken absolutely every single class in the pathway. Another great thing to do would be join one of the clubs like Educators Rising. Olivia is our president and does just amazing opportunities for students. Right now, we're actually pen pals with that 4th grade teacher that she had last year. And we're going to be writing e-letters to her students back and forth all year since we're going virtual now. The FCCLA program that she's talking about is another great one. So there's lots of opportunities just to kind of get your feet wet. We have district internships that you can do. So, my daughter just graduated from high school up in Grays Lake, amazing school district, but offers nothing like what D214 does. So I think just to read that academic handbook, talk to your counselor, and take advantage of a lot of opportunities that are available.
Fantastic. So the club, the Educators Rising Club, has come up now a couple of times. Olivia, you are the president of the club at Rolling Meadows. Tell us about what you love doing and the kind of things that you're involved in that capacity and what the club does.
So we always do pen pals with a elementary school around, and we do volunteer opportunities with Northwest Special Recreation Association, which is awesome because we also do like volunteer opportunities with like school dances at Willow Bend or Westgate or anything like that. But what I wanted to say is the clubs and all the classes, there's always like guests that come in. So last year, a boss or someone at NWSRA came in and talked about volunteer opportunities, and he also talked about getting a job there. And he offered me a job there. So I work at Northwest Special Recreation Association as well as a program assistant and an inclusion aide. And it gives me so many opportunities to work with children and adults with special needs. So all of these clubs and classes just give you outside opportunities and opportunities in school to figure out what you want to do. Because if I never took that class and met that person and had this job, I don't even think I would have considered special education, but now I want to be a special education teacher. So it's amazing.
Awesome. That's just so great to hear how the experiences can shape kind of what you choose to do. I'm going to move to National Louis again. Keisha, it sounds like you kind of get them when they're young and get to keep them in that pathway there. So as you are meeting new students, tell us what are the kind of attributes or skills that students, when they that they're going to learn with you, or that when they come in having, this is going to be a good one, this is going to be a great teacher because they have these skills, these kind of attributes to be good in the profession?
Well, I think one of the first things is that they're good listeners. I think all teachers are great listeners first, and that they're also problem solvers. So, and we don't expect them to come into our program knowing how to solve every problem. We're there to kind of talk about that, but that they come in with this curiosity and this desire to learn and do. And what I particularly love about the students is just their passion about the field and being so I was really inspired by Anna talking about just how the pandemic has shaped her as an educator. And so my students are really considering now, what does remote teaching look like? And how does that impact my practice? And so asking those kind of questions and really seeking to make a difference, and even looking at things through an equity lens. How can I ensure that all students have access to high quality education, and how do I deliver that? So I think the one of the coolest things that I see from students is their ability to listen and ask great questions, because a teacher is a learner after all, and you learn by listening and asking questions.
I love that. I think that's so true and often overlooked, it's the power of listening and asking questions. And you mentioned the word curiosity, and I believe one of the roots of curiosity is cure. If we want to find cure for these problems, we need to be curious about it and ask those questions and find out. That's fantastic. And Anne, it sounds like from your experiences, you kind of are, when they're finishing and they're getting their experiences. So tell us about some of the experiences, maybe there's some unique ones that NLU can kind of offer to the graduates.
Sure. As Keisha said, they start in their sophomore year or getting their feet wet in the classroom. We're really proud of all that field work that they do throughout their entire time within our program. I think it's really important to realize that you can't learn to teach by being in a college classroom. You have to get out and you have to experience teaching. So we really recognize that, and all of our work in the college classroom then is connected to that work that they do out in the field, which really gets them to that point their senior year where they're already fantastic teachers and they feel comfortable going into the classroom and leading lessons and starting to take over, and in student teaching actually taking over a classroom for a period of time where they are the teacher. One of the great things, and I know with D214 this works really well too, is a lot of our student teachers actually get hired either by the school that they've been teaching in or the district that they're teaching in. So all of these experiences also create those connections to people who will later want to hire you because you're already fantastic teachers.
Can I just add also that being an graduate of NLU, you are in the fast track to join our graduate school, which is an amazing grad school. And I'm sure if you polled any of your teachers, a lot of them would say that they got their graduate work from NLU. So it's a nice pipeline there as well.
Yeah. We have a lot of teachers in our area in the Northwest suburbs grew up in the Northwest suburbs, right? Anna, you grew up in the Northwest suburbs, but you're teaching in the city. Tell us about that journey a little bit, and what made you maybe choose maybe a different than a typical path, and what experiences helped you make that decision?
That's a great question, Jeff. So it really goes back to my why of teaching, of why I am a teacher, what's my purpose as an educator. I had a lot of experiences in high school and in college volunteering. I'm actually in the Navajo reservation in Arizona. And it really got me thinking about how I can make a difference in the world around me. And in college, I didn't really know what that would look like. I tried law internships, I tried all these things. And I did eventually settle on education because of that direct interaction with students. But I did really want to focus on teaching in the city because I did want to see transformation in these urban areas and to reach students where education is that great equalizer, where education can be an opportunity that all students need to have and should have quality, education that can lift whatever circumstance that they're in. And so that's why I chose to teach in the city and teach in the areas around me. Now, if I'm being truly honest, I do teach at a magnet school in Chicago. So even though, that vision is not completely all there for me, I'm still growing as a new teacher in trying to make my teaching just in my classroom as equitable as possible, trying to use a lot of instruction that meets all students' needs. So whatever ways, that maybe your vision of teaching isn't always there, it's, the beginning of your career, you're just starting out. I encourage all you future educators that you can still continue to pursue those visions and those dreams in whatever you end up doing.
Thank you, Anna. And I'm sure all of us on the panel and those of you that are listening can just hear the really the emotion and the energy from what Anna said. And really that's what makes education, I truly think, just the best place to land, because you really have that chance to change trajectories of lives and make a difference. So thank you for your honesty and vulnerability there, Anna. To jump back to National Lewis as well, a chance for you guys to brag a little bit and talk a little bit. Tell us about your, I have a number of students here and they're hopefully going to continue education. What does admissions into the School of Education kind of look like? And what's kind of makes you guys stand out in what you offer in education at National Lewis?
I'll pick up there. Number one, Anna, that was amazing. So thank you. Thank you for being an awesome teacher. That's one of the best qualities is for all of you to think about are those teachers that have touched you and changed your lives. And mostly they are caring and passionate. So thank you so much. We at National Lewis have, you've seen two of our professors here, the same type of what I've experienced, just passionate professors, educators in this field, and actually in our other areas. We have a fairly new undergraduate program at National Lewis, and we're actually real close. We're in Wheeling, and what makes us unique is that, number one, we're around the corner. We actually, as Keisha has said, and Ann, a lot of our placement is in these incredible districts, feeder schools into District 214, and we just have some incredible experiences for our students to be able to, really, like Olivia's already getting at the high school level, we have that really freshman on, and so what also makes us real unique, our undergraduate model, is that we have a real dependable schedule. And if you can all imagine this, I know some of you are in middle school, some of you are in high school, but we actually have school 2 days a week. And that's it. Well, I should say your classes are 2 days a week. Outside of that, we have, flexibility then. Many of our students are working or they're doing, it's a requirement to have an internship. So in the different areas, or like Olivia, when she gets into her observation hours, they can start that year round. So on those 3 days off, they can actually be working and working in their field and getting their feet wet. So I think that's really amazing. Opportunity for our students. So year round, they're getting that opportunity. And then when this whole undergraduate college was designed, it was designed with really kind of, I don't know if modern student is the word, but more 21st century student that is wanting to actually, work, and actually they're real smart, and you're all real smart and savvy when it comes to finances. And we wanted the undergraduate college to be affordable. So with donors like, we have Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, as well as other sponsors, we were able to get our tuition down at, really for a private university, our tuition is about $11,000, a little bit over, which is pretty remarkable. So I can share a little bit about that. So we're affordable, we're close to home. We have these great connections with these incredible districts in our areas, such as 214. And we have these amazing professors in the field that really are helping guide students into these great jobs, like Anna has. So a little bit about us.
Awesome. No, fantastic for sharing that. And for the students, if $11,000 sounds like a lot of money, most private institutions are $11,000 a quarter. That's $11,000 for a year. So that is a fantastic price tag there. So you don't want to leave college with a lot of debt, and that seems very possible at National Louis. That's wonderful. Olivia, I'm going to jump to you, and you've had an amazing amount of educational experiences for a high school student. Tell us about, so far, what's some of your favorite things about teaching and what you look forward to the most from your experiences?
Well, I've taken preschool 1 through 3. And during that, I was able to take an early childhood course through Harper too. So I used all the things I learned in that course in the preschool. And even when they're that young, you can make connections with them, and you can learn how to make kind of like a personal connection. Because I feel as if I've learned how to learn about them, and I use what I know about them personally to teach them, and that keeps them engaged, and it keeps them like ready to learn. And in preschool, they're always ready to learn. They're always excited. But even in my 4th grade classroom and with my clients at my job, I use all the things I've learned in all of my classes, and they've worked too. And I just feel like making that personal connection and learning how to make the personal connection has made me more confident teaching, guiding a lesson, helping with homework and all that stuff. So that's the most important thing I've learned.
Great. No, thank you. Linda, you've developed this pathway in our district as really a leader and an entrepreneur in our district for this. When it comes to kind of some of our courses and at the end there at Academy, tell us about what a high school kid can expect to experience there, and maybe some even kind of some of the things you've seen in students as a result of their experiences in that Education Academy Ultimate course.
Sure. So one thing we look for students in the Education Academy is to have really good attendance and a good GPA, and really model the behavior that we expect when we send you out to do student teaching. And one of the things that students do is go into different classrooms for that whole entire senior year, so they can see, do they want to teach special ed? Do they want to teach middle school? Do they want to teach elementary school? And so I've seen a lot of transformation. I had one young man from Prospect who was upset with me because he did not want to go into an elementary classroom. And right now he's an elementary teacher at District 23 and couldn't love it more. So it was really neat to see those transformations. I can't tell you how many principals have, when I go in to do an observation, have said, oh my gosh, I've already told them when they are done with college to come back. And if I have a job opening, I'm going to hire them. I've had cooperating teachers say, I forget that they're not in college. So it's just amazing the kind of students we have in our district who are taking these courses. And honestly, the students in Ed Academy appreciate being there. They know what a privilege it is. And so it is just an honor for me to be able to teach that and to help these students fulfill their passion. So it's an amazing program.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We are getting close to the end here. Megan, if you want to wrap up here, thank you.
Sure. So we are nearing the end of this session, and we just want to thank everybody, all of our panelists first and foremost, who took time out of their busy lives to join us this evening to share their experiences. I think, as you can see, our early childhood and elementary education pathway here in District 214 is one we're incredibly proud of. we're so lucky and to have the partnership with National Louis that we have, and to be able to have students like current student Olivia, and then have Anna come back and share her experiences with all of us. Again, we did record this evening's session, so it'll be posted on our website, and people can review it at a later point in time. But again, we want to thank all of our panelists, thank all of you for attending, and wish you all a well and safe evening. So, and thanks to our wonderful moderator, Mr. Wardle from Buffalo Grove High School, who's was fantastic.
It was a great night. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Kids,
everyone.
stick with it. Stick with it. It's a great thing. Bye, everybody.